Hello there, and welcome to this week's edition of Creative Critique. Now, the newly released cinematic film that I saw this week is the latest adaptation of one of William Shakespeare's most celebrated plays and works, often referred to as the Scottish play, and that film is, of course, Macbeth. So, for those who who do not generally know the ideas and the storyline behind Macbeth, I will do a very, very brief synopsis for you. The storyline focuses on the main title character of a Scottish general known as Macbeth and his wife, Lady Macbeth, and upon him being told that he will one day rule and be king of Scotland, decides to take things into his own hands and accelerate this process, leading to a story of betrayal and ambition and then guilt and lots of other themes on show later on in the story. But that is the general idea, and it's all about it's obviously all about his story. Of course it's his. That's a really stupid thing to say, isn't it? But yes, that's the general idea behind Macbeth, and it's all about him then trying to stay in power by any means necessary. So now I'm going to lay this straight on the table. I'm not at all well versed with William Shakespeare's works. I've probably experienced what many children experience in school, of it being taught to you in such a terrible way that makes you completely not want to have anything to do with it. So it's unfortunate that occurred in school. I have since seen adaptations of. Obviously, I've not read the works. I have seen adaptations, be they film, because that's all I have seen. And there's certainly lots of intelligent things on show to behold, and great storylines that are clearly being written. Yeah, I'm no literary. That was truly terrible. Yes. So, like I say, I am not the greatest expert on the works of Macbeth or anything like that. So my expertise here is going to purely how I experience it as a cinematic showing and how it presented itself to me. So yeah, so who's starring in the film? Michael Fassbender is the star. Well, he's the star. He's the lead, and Michael Fassbender, he is an actor, isn't he? He's extreme. Oh, he's just one of those great modern day actors, isn't he? He can be in a big superhero brand like, obviously, the X-Men series, but equally perform in such works as this. See, obviously, he was a great stage actor originally, and he is wonderful yet again. He is completely immersive in the role. You completely feel and absorb his performance because he is truly wonderful to behold in this film. What's more interesting is the casting of Lady Macbeth, who is played by Marion Cotillard, of course, who is the French actress. Now, considering this is extremely well known as being Shakespeare's Scottish play, it's extremely intriguing, isn't it? That's the role of a prominent Scottish character whose the wife is always presumed to be Scottish, although apparently it's never been said she was Scottish. But yeah, come on. That a French actress would play her, and not only would a French actress play her, but a French actress would not then attempt the accent. Maybe it's because she felt it wasn't going to be a very good accent, or maybe she felt it would be just too off-putting for the audience. And I don't know, maybe knowing that she's French and her putting on a fake Scottish accent. I'm not sure. I think she's always. I've read some quotes from her saying she always seen herself performing this in French on stage, not in a film in English. So that's rather. So she's clearly took the role because she's something she's always wanted to do. And she's extremely good in terms of speaking English, but obviously there's that completely Gaelic tone to her voice, which is not unnoticeable. It's not incredibly off-putting, but you do notice it to a point. So, hey, she performs it well, but there's that still little, yeah. I can't quite put my finger on it exactly. Well, I have put my finger on it, haven't I? What am I on about? But yeah, so she's cast as Lady Macbeth. There's also various other roles played in this film, of course. Most notoriety by David Thewlis as King Duncan. Very recent scene here in Legends as well. And Paddy Considine is Banquo, who is one of Macbeth's most loyal friends and fellow. I think he's a general also, I'm not sure. But yes, Considine, he's I won't say he's an actor, isn't he? He's very careful in his choosing his films, Considine. And who else? Sean Harris, who plays Macduff as well. Once again, playing something that's not quite what he normally plays as well, it must be said, as has been said to me as well by others. So yeah, good to see him here as well. But what is most noticeable about the film, in particular, is the cinematography. From the battlefield, the fight scenes, to just those interspersing scenic shots. The way that not only is the landscape used, but how colours are used within the landscape to enhance the effect of something is truly superb. And it is what makes this film stand out incredibly so much. Yes, it's Fassbender's performance, but the look and style of the film is so wonderful and so beautiful to observe. You just can't take your eyes off it, and therefore it immerses you even more in the story and the performances. So yeah, fabulous work in the cinematography. The music is pretty much. We need this type of music. There we go. There probably wasn't too much ingenuity regarding the type of music they want to use. But it was kind of, this is the type of music we need right now. This is the type of music we need right now. And it didn't seem like there's much sort of thought process in terms of making it slightly different or something like that. It was not. Yeah, it was kind of a little bit predictable in some of its music, but that's it's not a huge to the huge detriment of the film. So yeah, what can I say? Is it going to convert people who are not well versed with Shakespeare and will make them want to watch it? It's very difficult to say. It's very difficult. I think pretty much if you want to watch this sort of thing, you are the sort of person in that category already. It's not going to convert many people to watching it myself. Other than possibly the fact of somebody like Fassbender being in that title role may tweak interest. But otherwise, it's a really, really, really well-made film. And it gives you good hope, the fact that the team behind it, particularly Fassbender, and the director, who is Justin Kurzel, are going to be making the film adaptation of the Assassin's Creed game. So, hey, we all know what computer game films are like. But hey, if this is the sort of film a director can make, and he wants to go and do a video game, that is extremely intriguing. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Macbeth, I thought it was a really, really well-made film. Fassbender's great, and the cinematography was wonderful. So yeah, there we go. Macbeth, my cinematic release film of the week. So, my classic film of the week is going to be, so far, my oldest classic film. And that film is a film from the 50s, and what I call the 50s, that sort of collective of 50s science fiction films involved with all the worlds and The Day the Earth Stood Still. But for me, this is my favourite because it just displayed so many different things on show for me. And the film itself is Forbidden Planets, and how apt that in the week of seeing William Shakespeare's Macbeth being portrayed on the big screen, that with this film, Forbidden Planet, not many people do know that this film is a, if you will, a science fiction adaptation of his play, The Tempest. Once again, I've always said this, I have not very well versed with Shakespeare's works, so I don't know exactly the plot of The Tempest, but I know this film and this film's plot, so... But yeah, that's extremely intriguing, I do believe, and worthy of making a note of. So the film revolves around there's a planet that has had a human team go visit it to explore it. But after years and years of not having any sort of hearing back from this planet and what's going on, a team is sent to see what is going on. And a team that is led by Leslie Nielsen. That is right, Leslie Nielsen. The guy who is Frank Drebin from the Naked Gun films. That is right. Before all those comedic films, he was in such fare such as this. And hey, he's exactly that sort of authoritarian captain character that is needed for this sort of film. The hero, but is not an arrogant hero, if you will. That sort of place is left to his sort of deputy to be that sort of thing. Yes. So yes, he's a captain sent to this planet, and they find that there is actually survivors. A scientist played by Walter Pidgeon, and his daughter, who is played by Anne Francis. So then the Inquisition begins. What happened to all the other people on this planet? And Walter Pidgeon describes the fact that once they got here, something on the planet slowly started taking them and effectively killing them. And it's really a film about discovery, because it focuses on certain things to do with... I can't explain it. It spoils the film. I'm just going to go straight to who I consider to be the real star of this film, who is the absolute legendary, one of the most iconic robots to ever grace the screen, and that is Robby the Robot. Because it has been mentioned many times by many critics and many people observing science fiction films that he is the sort of robot. His robot was one of the first robots to actually have a personality and actually have... It felt like that robot was its own character, if you will. You believed that. Although obviously you know that there's somebody in there operating and so on, you believed that was the robot, if you will, and not somebody operating them. Which is great for the film, and that's why, in my opinion, it's one of those... It is exactly the birth of many, many, many science fiction robots and ideas. I mean, you just look at the style of him. He is the Lost in Space robot. Well, the Lost in Space robot is him, to be more apt. But yes, fabulous design of the robot. I think there's some fabulous score, because it's not an electronic score, but it's by a particular instrument. Like it's exactly what ruined in a way. But for this film, it's brilliant, because I think it was the first film to use it. It was that sort of proper 50s sci-fi sound, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Watch this film with it, don't watch any others. Because it murders it to death. I love the effects. I think the effects are great. There's some animation effects done, actually by Disney, interestingly enough, by what they discover. And there's an intriguing information regarding human discovery of alien artifacts and things like that. So there's things sort of emerging, sort of revealing themselves in terms of other science fiction films, isn't there? Just think about that for a minute. Alien artifacts on a foreign planet sounds a bit like Total Recall on Mars, doesn't it? But yeah, so that's why I'm saying it's one of those birthplaces for science fiction films. And I think it's truly a wonderful film. It's 1 hour 40 minutes, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. I think some of the dialogue is great. I think it's very funny. Some instances it's not intensely funny, but you enjoy it but nevertheless. And yeah, I think there's great performances on the show from the three main actors and actresses. No, actors. And yeah, I think it's a great film. There we go. Forbidden Planet is my classic film of the week. Worthy of your attention. Certainly worthy of your attention, particularly for science fiction fans out there. And yeah, there we go. Forbidden Planet was my classic film of the week, and the latest adaptation of Macbeth, starring Michael Fassbender, was my theatrically released film of the week. I thank you very much for watching. If you have, I hope you subscribe to me, and I do hope to see and speak to you again. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.